Good morning. It's Wednesday, July 18th. We want to talk today about what's going on in Russia and implications for the global seafood industry. Yesterday we had a major story about the Russian investigation into Pacfic Andes' potential ownership of a portion of the Russian pollock fishing fleet. Pacfic Andes has contracts with 23 supertrawlers, and they certainly have indicated in public filings that they control or have access to about 60% of the Russian overall pollock catch. Yesterday, China Fishery Group, a subsidiary of Pacfic Andes, announced a restructuring of a lot of its long-term supply agreements to explicitly clear up any indication that there might be security arrangements between, for example, their supply companies and the owners of these Russian vessels that would ultimately threaten ownership. Now, why is this important? Russia has a history of acting in ways around resource issues and around fisheries issues that can be very disruptive to the marketplace. For example, they've shut down the import of Norwegian salmon as companies within Russia have jockeyed for control of that market, and some of them have state allies. Russia also unilaterally suspended imports of Vietnamese Pangasius last year for a period of time, again without much warning. Now they're looking at pollock, and the danger here is that instead of having a gradual transition to more sort of Russian production of value-added product, the government could get involved in a way that would actually destroy value in the industry. The Russians, of course, are concerned about the degree to which their pollock resources ultimately processed in China, but at the same time, they don't have the infrastructure or capacity right now to produce the types of fillets from pollock that the world market needs. If the Russians work towards a gradual transition, investment in their infrastructure, building vessels that can produce a good quality block product and more fillets, that will be a successful transition for the industry. But if they act like a bull in the china shop and in the fight to get more revenue for Moscow, in the fight of who actually controls a lot of these fish resources in the Far East, there's the danger that there could be big disruptions in the global supply of pollock. This would happen if Russia, for example, acted unilaterally to ban some of the export of Russian pollock products to the Chinese processing plants. All in all, I think this is a risk factor that really has to be kept an eye on, and that's why we ran our major story yesterday. And although we couldn't put out a video yesterday, I wanted to mention it today. We really need to keep an eye on whether there's some sort of erratic behavior that's going to take place in Russia over this pollock issue. In Nantucket, Mass., this is John Sack.